Welcome to Megadad's Live episode 115. On today's show, we're going to do a little small talk with me and my son Elliot about Spider-Man 2. You're going to get the perspective of an old guy and a young guy about why this game is so fantastic. We're also going to hear from Will all about Bomb Rush Cyberfunk and if this game lives up to the jet set heritage that it's so inspired by. And before we get to the show, let's take a moment to thank all of our Extra Life contributors. You can, of course, go and donate at extra-life.org. Search out Team Megadads and make a donation. It is greatly appreciated. We're only 1 week away from game day, and we want to take a moment to thank everyone who has donated to our campaign. Great big thanks to Chris, Mario, Dave, Luke, J. Lou, Rosa, Antonio, and Doreen, and Clay. We appreciate your support. All those kids and their families, of course, appreciate your support. And please make sure you head to extra-life.org and seek out Team Megadads to make a donation before game day on November 4th. We'll be streaming live right here on youtube.com/Megadads. Now, without any further delay, let's get on with the show. We're going to talk about Spider-Man today. Spider-Man 2 came out for the PlayStation 5 this last weekend. And Elliot has been playing a lot of it. Sometimes he gives me the controller and I get to play it too. Not very often.
For like 5 minutes and then I get to play it for 2 hours.
If he gets stuck on a part and he needs me to beat like a boss or a big tough encounter, he will be kind enough to throw the controller at me as he has a giant tantrum. I hate this game, is stupid. You do it. And then I'll beat it and I'll show him how amazing I am as a superhero. And then he'll be like, this game is great. And then we'll play again. And all that to say, you all right?
I'm done.
Megadads Live is a mature-rated podcast. It's for the Megadads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go! Welcome to Small Talk with Elliot and Daddy. This is a segment that we used to do every episode of Megadad's Live a long time ago when you were little. When you were this big.
Now I'm this.
Now you're this big, this big, this big. So much bigger. And it's gotten to the point now, Elliot, where you not only play more games than I do.
I'm better at playing games than him. Except Spider-Man.
Except Spider-Man? Spider-Man 2 is the game that we were really anticipating.
It's just that this time, we normally do it on easy, like the mode.
Yes.
This time we did it on normal, and I'm not used to that.
He's not used to being normal.
I said I wanted to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like, that's, like, expert. And then I'm just like, and then I go into normal, and I'm like,
It's fine. It's there's a little bit of challenge, we didn't put it on hard or anything. We're just playing it on normal. So every once in a while it gets a little challenging, a little bit difficult.
Like the lizard.
But let's pause there. Let's step back and talk about the game. We've been looking forward to this game for a long time.
Yes, we've been like
watching all the trailers, all the gameplay reveals. Elliot's been on YouTube looking up way too much stuff in advance because he likes to spoil the experience.
No, I didn't even get that far. Like, the whole thing we've already played was a spoiler alert.
Okay, so now we're in fresh territory?
Yeah, now I have no idea how it's going.
But we were very, very excited for this game.
Yes.
Spider-Man, the original, was our game of the year when it came out in 2018. Seems like forever ago.
Yeah.
Miles Morales, which is the game that launched the PS5. Like, we loved that game.
Yeah.
You've played both of those games through at least 3 times a piece. So you're very well versed in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know how to play it. You know all the ins and outs. You've unlocked all the costumes. You know all the sick combos, as the kids say.
Spider-Man 2 isn't like any other Spider-Man game.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. What's different about Spider-Man 2?
When you go into the map, it's a brand new map. You can even like go on the bridge and stuff. You don't have to fast travel to the other, like, so there's like a part right here and a part right here and then the bridge. So Spider-Man normally is in this part and then Miles in this part, because Miles is like school's in this part and Peter's like normal routines in this part. Then you can like cross over without without like switching characters. Like I would always think like you have to be Miles to be in this side. You have to be Peter to be in that side. Yeah.
So the map is bigger.
Yeah.
It's the same city. It's New York again.
Yeah.
And at first I was kind of like, is it gonna be kind of weird to be just playing like the same areas again? But not only did they like double the size of the New York area that you can explore.
Yeah, but it's like, well, they did.
They did do that.
Yeah,
but in addition to that, like
they also made it like the city feels bigger when you're in it.
it really does.
Like if you go up on the Avengers Tower or something, if you look down, like that looks way bigger.
And I think each corner of New York is very unique and full of character. It's not just like a whole bunch of copy and paste buildings.
Yeah.
Every street you go down, like there are landmarks and special places that you remember going to in the previous two games.
Yeah, like so if you went to the art museum, we like went back to that exact same place.
So Elliot's been going into photo mode in this game. What Elliot is doing is he's doing Spider-Man's tour around New York, and he's posing Spider-Man in front of landmarks. And you can pose Spider-Man in all these preset like gestures, and all of Elliot's poses are like, look, I'm in front of the museum. Look, I'm in front of the seafood market. Look, I'm in front of Avengers Tower. And it's like if Spider-Man was assembling a scrapbook of his journey across New York. And you showed those to me today, and they're hilarious. So we'll be putting them in the video here so that people can see what we're talking about. So if you're listening to the audio version, you definitely want to go to youtube.com/megadads and watch this, because these photos are hilarious. So the city is bigger and more robust. The photo mode is fantastic. Talk to me about the story.
Story.
It's great.
Another level.
A whole nother level.
Story takes place.
No spoilers, by the way.
I'm not
No
doing
spoilers. I know. I just want to tell the people in case they're nervous that we might spoil something. There are no spoilers
We're
here.
not spoiling.
Well, I think the best way to explain it is that what you're just leading up to is it's Peter and Miles, and they have one story that they're both going through together, but they also diverge.
Yeah,
So
like,
at some points you're going on like Peter's path and learning about what's going on in his life.
And then under it is Miles' path, and then if you go above both of them, it's the same path where like they both come together to defeat this like giant monster or something.
Well, what I like so much about the story of this game is that it makes it feel like you're watching the movies. You know, in the movies, you get to know the characters, and they call back, and they come back, and they become like this big family. And playing through this game really makes it feel like you're visiting friends again. Like you want to know what's going on with Peter, and you want to know what's going on with Miles, and they advance their stories just as much as like the superhero stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like Miles is like applying to go to college, and Peter's trying to get a job, and you really feel like they're real people, and the Peter and Miles stuff is just as cool as the Spider stuff, right?
And it gives you like flashbacks when Peter is young, and it actually shows you what he looks like, and that's really cool because we've never seen him as a kid.
The story is great. The story is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's full of action. It's full of great character development.
And when you're playing it, I feel like it makes me think of like, how would this look in a VR?
Oh, you want to see this in VR, huh?
Yeah, I want to be swinging around, punching bad guys in the face.
I tell you what, if this was in VR, I would vomit all over the place because Spider-Man flips and spins.
I don't care.
Well, let's talk about the flips and the spins, the controls, because this game, again, builds upon what came before.
Yeah,
so it's got
so
all the moves that you're familiar with.
Like
but
the swinging, and there's web wings.
Web wings are rad. They're so rad.
Yeah, so like the web wings you think they're cool, like you want to play as them. When you actually play as them,
it's even cooler.
You're dying.
It's even cooler, right? So what do they do? What is the web wing for people that have no idea? The
web wing is like twice as fast as the swinging around the city.
It's flying.
Yeah, it's literally flying. If you go on the top of the Avengers Tower, jump off, push triangle, you can glide around the Avengers Tower like 7 times before you get to the ground.
I really think that The guys who make this game, they're called Insomniac Games, right?
Oh yeah.
I really think that Insomniac has proven that they are the best people for the job of making a superhero game. They've taken
Yes.
the feeling of like the action and they've married it with the important storytelling like every good superhero
and,
story
like, the
has.
details in like talking about the details,
Mhm.
like when you were swinging around, there would be like blinds over the windows. Now when you like crawl up the buildings, there's like different things in each room. So it's really cool to see how like they put that much effort just to make that.
You can pause the game at any point and go into photo mode and look at the city, and it looks like an actual
It looks
shot
like somebody
of New
just
York.
took a video.
Yeah, the game is beautifully rendered. It's probably some of the best graphics, if not the best graphics I've ever seen in a video game. And it all plays
Even better than God of War.
Even better than God of War. It all plays and controls effortlessly. Like there's no glitches. There's a little bit of wonkiness sometimes when you get caught on stuff when you're running around. Yeah, but like as far as like the core of the game, it just feels good.
Yeah.
So that's Spider-Man 2. It's the new release. It's the big release. We'll be giving a full review on this game here at
In
Mega
like
Dads.
7 weeks.
I think we're going to get through this game really fast because the other thing is you just want to keep playing. Like some games you can play for a little while and you'll be like, okay, I'm going to put it down. I'm a little bored.
Like
I'm a little burnt out. But this game, when you're not...
This game's like, you want to keep playing. Like,
you just want to keep going. It's so good. It's so good. I can't...
Which you're not going to let me because you have to edit this video.
I do have to, but it's okay. We'll get back to it. But Spider-Man 2 so far is absolutely superb. I can hardly think of a single thing that I would knock against it. It's just bigger and better.
And great.
And it's fantastic.
And it's greater together.
Greater together. Let's do this thing. Hey everyone, it's Adam here from Megadads to tell you all about Zencastr. You know, I've been podcasting here at Megadads for almost 10 years. And after fumbling around and struggling with other programs and platforms, I'm happy to say that the team has settled right here with Zencastr to record all of our podcasts. Zencastr is incredibly easy to set up and use right out of the gate. You can get going with podcasts that have studio quality sound as well as high fidelity video for everyone on your podcast. And with built-in multi-track recording, your post-production work is going to go off without a hitch. That multi-track recording is essential. It is the number one thing that you need for your podcast recording and editing. If you want to do it right, you got to do it with Zencastr. And with a suite of tools, your post-production work is going to be so easy. You can take out awkward pauses. You can adjust your recording levels on all of your multi-tracks. You can take out that pesky background sound, all with the click of a button. It's incredibly easy to use. We use Zencastr for everything here at Megadads, from recording our episodes of Megadads Live, having team meetings. Even this advertisement right here is created with Zencastr. I honestly don't know why you'd use anything else. Isn't that right, Mabel? See? Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use the code Megadads. This is important now. Use the code Megadads. You're going to get 30% off of your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience that I do for all your podcasting and content creation needs. It's time to share your story. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use that code Megadads. You think you can make a better podcast than me? Place to start is Zencastr. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is an action sports game developed by Team Reptile. See how I Ron Burgundy'd that? You put a question mark. I'm going to read it like a question mark.
That's fine.
Developed and published by Team Reptile. It's available on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Will, I know, is a Jet Set fan. He's a Sega guy. He's a Sega kid. So I want to hear his perspective on Bomb Rush Cyberfunk.
Yeah, all right. So Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, it is a game that I have been in romantic love with since I saw like the first teaser for it. I love Jet Set Radio. The first one anyway. Future is a different story, and I got to thinking too hard about it last night. It may be one of the reasons I never really got into the Xbox ecosystem. That game turned me off that hard. Well, the graffiti was just push buttons in that one. You didn't have to do anything. And that... I had a violently negative response to that at a friend's house. And I was like, no, I'm done. Fuck off. This is terrible. It didn't help that like the first level was also like set at like dusk or something, so everything was either orange or in the shadows. So it like this initial impression was just the exact opposite of what I wanted, which is bright colors, lots of energy, stuff like that. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is a lot better at that than Jet Set Radio Future, in my opinion. The biggest thing that I like about it, and the biggest thing it has over Jet Set Radio, is how it handles graffiti. The graffiti system is pretty good. Jet Set Radio, if you don't know, you've got different sizes. There's like 4, 5 sizes or something. And as you can pick which one you paint on which size. You unlock more, you can change it up later. But you have to like go back to the main menu and change your stuff around manually. In Cyberfunk, in Bomb Rush, you gradually unlock more, but how it works is depending on what size the space is, little nodes will pop up on the screen. There's like 4, 5, or 6. There are super little spaces that are just a tap, but that's character specific and you can't change it. The library of tags you have is constantly growing, and you can look them up whenever you want on your phone. I'll talk more about the phone in a minute. And depending on what order you hit the nodes in, you'll paint something different. So you've got your entire repertoire available the whole time, or as long as you've got it unlocked, you can do it if the space is big enough. So you're not constantly painting the same 4 things. I really like that. I don't know that anybody else is going to care about that as much as I do. But I think it's really cool. Just because, there's a lot. I can mix it up. And that's what I like to do here. It's a game that very, very much wants to be a Jet Set Radio game. Like, not evoke those feelings and build on it. It wants to be that. There is a difference, in my opinion. I will elaborate if you want. It does do some things differently, though. Jet Set Radio was timed stages, timed levels. And this is a lot more of an open exploration kind of thing. You only have time limits on specific challenges. But the idea is you want to go to these different parts of the city, paint your tags over the resident gang's tags, and then you'll do a battle, and then if you win, it's your turf, and you move on. Story happens, what have you. So it's all graffiti all the time, until you do the challenge, then it's a score battle, and then it's about tricks and combos.
Sweet.
And this is where I kind of start to... It doesn't have as much depth as I think it could on that end of things. How it works, it's all about multipliers. And there's only 2 ways to increase your multiplier. You can grind around corners and lean into it, or wall ride on billboards. Each time you do one of those things, your multiplier will increase by 1.
Nice.
And... but only the first time you do it in a chain. Like, you can't just grind in a circle and get multiplier for it.
Right.
Yeah. It's very, very forgiving for a game that's asking you to do tricks. You are not going to crash. You're not going to wipe out. The most you'll do is lose your combo. But if you're grinding on a rail, you can do whatever you want, basically. Until you jump, you're locked onto that rail until you jump or the rail ends.
Okay.
And it wants you to mix it up to keep the scores high because, it's got diminishing returns on your tricks. You sit there and mash the square button, it's going to be worth less and less until you're just getting like 10 points a pop, and that's not helping anybody. But all it really has are these. I played on PlayStation, so square, triangle, circle. Tricks for on rails or in the air. And then there's a boost feature that I also like and we'll get to. And you can boost and tap a button, any of those buttons, and do a fancier trick on the rails or in the air. So you've only got like 8 tricks. And for as much importance as it wants to put on Score Battle for like the climactic, events, it's I would have expected a little more, and it gets a little. Some of the longer ones at the end, I just kind of it goes a little too long for how much variety there is.
Sure. Just starts to feel repetitive, or
a little bit. Like I'm doing the same stuff. I'm mixing it up just enough so that I'm safely keeping my combo going and stuff like that. And so, like, the trick stuff is not maybe as fleshed out as it could be for how central it is. But it's still fun. It's still fun to do, but, like, you're not doing that all the time. My other, like, big criticism, some of these areas are just too big.
Too big?
Well, too big and empty.
Oh, okay.
That was the thing that when I looked at, because I was looking this game up.
Yeah.
And I'm coming from a place where I didn't play any of the predecessors. I was always like, I wanted to play Jet Set, but I never had the opportunity. And I always thought it looked really cool. And I looked at this game and I watched some trailers. And that was one of the first things that I noticed was like the areas are huge, but they don't seem like they have any life in them. Like they just seem they seem like levels and not like places, I guess, is what I felt like. It just didn't look like there was anything to do other than grind and tag.
And yeah, I would say that's apt. It's really unfortunate because the worst offender is like one of the first areas in the game. There's this big empty plaza, but there's just not as much to do in there as you would hope. Some of the areas are designed way better, and there's a lot more densely packed stuff to do. And some of it is kind of trying to find how to get to the tag spots.
Yeah.
And some of that's really interesting in some of these other levels, especially some of the later ones. That stuff is good. That stuff is very good in some places. But anywhere that has like a big empty space is... It doesn't feel like it's for this game. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here?
Is it one big world or is it levels? Like, do you have a loading screen between the areas? Yeah. Or is it
between different areas? You'll have there are 5. Okay. 5. There's 5 boroughs to this city of New Amsterdam.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay, and each one has a loading screen to get into it. But once you're in there, you've got once you're in there won't be a loading screen until you leave. You do have to earn access to different parts of it, and I'm totally fine with that. That's great. Well, sometimes. But it's there's an area that's like straight out of the Jet Set Radio tutorial where it's like a bus terminal.
Nice.
That is like my favorite spot in the game because there's stuff to do everywhere and there's really cohesive. There's a lot. It's really easy to do a really long combo with a really big multiplier, and it's fun. Like you're jumping off rails. You can grind on the ceiling thanks to these little boost packs.
Dope.
So there are rails that you can grind upside down.
Hot. That's hot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's good too. I like boost stuff. Huh?
Wonders, Will. 2 burning questions. Okay, so I get vibes from. I didn't play Jet Set Radio. The vibes I get from this are like a great mix of like SSX, where you're doing tricks, but actually more like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, where you have the levels and you explore and you find the paths of how to get there, like you said. And then it's very stylized, like kind of like Sunset Overdrive, and the movement in that was basically one of the key joys and the thing that kind of pulled you along. It was fun to traverse. help me understand the pull of the game, because I feel like it's a unique game, right? And
Yeah.
I don't understand why. So if you
Okay.
get good scores, do you get a currency that helps you upgrade something? Do you get like a recognition, like a medal or something? Like, what's the draw? Is there
Absolutely
a
the
story
fuck
at
not.
play?
There is a story. There is a story, and it's surprisingly good.
Oh.
It had a twist at the end. And I was like, oh shit. Oh really? All right.
Mm.
The story is good. The story is good, and I've probably front loaded this discussion with a lot of my disappointments in it and how it didn't quite hit what I wanted it to. And that's on me, but I've been hyped for this game for like a year and a half. Because they don't make these fucking games.
Right. Like if they made a Crazy Taxi successor, I'd be like, yeah,
right.
This better be fucking gold or
Right. Okay. The traversal is really at the heart of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say. And I like the traversal. But how it handles stuff, it's really kind of interesting. I'll have to see how it plays out a little bit, because I'm gonna have to like start a new file or something to capture some footage, maybe.
Yeah.
You don't unlock new techniques. They're all there at the beginning, and it just kind of teaches them to you as you go.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a lot of tools to keep going. You can manual or do like some ground tricks to, get between points to keep your combo going and stuff. But that also, if you go from a manual into a jump, you jump further and higher, which is something they don't teach you right away. It's the boost. The boost is a lot. The boost is very good. You wear this boost pack. Oh shit! Hit the microphone. You've got this boost pack, and you build up the meter with tricks and stuff. You can spend it to do fancier tricks, or you can use it to just kind of really quickly get wherever you need to go, add some real push to the end of a jump or something like that. It's a lot of fun to move around and do this stuff. It really is. But like even then, that system shines in the densely packed areas. Mm-hmm. And I like it quite a bit. I do. I got a little negative on it. I do like this video game. I really do.
Does it?
You've got different. You can do inline skates. You can do BMX bikes with like pegs and shit, and skateboards. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, being the Jet Set Radio enthusiast, I was inline skates the whole way.
They don't play any differently, right? It's just like aesthetically, like they all do the same stuff, right?
Well, yeah. To an extent, there are special. The game does not tell you this, which is a fucking crime. So there are these yellow doors that you can only get into if you're using a BMX bike.
Oh,
that's pretty obvious. To see. You see one, I need to come back with a bike, whatever. None of that stuff has been required. I found one map that had tag spots locked behind one of those. The thing they don't tell you, there are like fire hydrants around. If you've got a skateboard, you can land on top of it and spin around, and it'll raise you up.
That's cool.
That it is cool, and it doesn't fucking tell you about it or use it very often. And like, why is it here? This is really cool. What the fuck? The inline skates don't have anything special like that, because of course they fucking don't. But they're not hugely different. They do feel a little bit different. But yeah, they are pretty similar. It's just kind of it is largely an aesthetic choice.
Yeah, my understanding is like any character can use any mode of travel, right? So you can just kind of mix and match. But it all is based.
Yeah. Well, you can change anybody to any of those items at the hideout. But if you need to swap into a level, you can trade characters out. There are spots where you can tag in someone else in your crew. And so you can have someone in your roster who's got a BMX bike equipped, so that you don't have to go all the way back to base to get one. You can just bring out this guy who's got his bike and do it that way.
So each character has like a default loadout, so that if you bring them in, they'll have that thing, or
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, a little bit, yeah.
You haven't mentioned the music. Tell them the music.
The music's pretty fucking good. It's not
Mm.
it's not quite that Jet Set Radio level of quality all the way through. Of course, you know, they brought in the guy who did a lot of the soundtrack for Jet Set Radio, Hideki Nagamura, I think his name is.
Sweet.
And his tracks are really good. There are some really good tracks there, but there are some that if they come up, my wife will ask me to change it because she finds them so off-putting. And even I'm like, I don't know about this one.
So
I think it's good.
Is this just made by fans of that franchise, or are there people behind the game that actually worked on the original?
As far as I'm aware, Nagamura is the only person that was working on the Jet Set Radio franchise.
Okay.
That's here. There could be someone on the dev team, but I don't know that. They certainly haven't been upfront about that. So I'm thinking probably no one major.
So at
Looks
the end of
very
the day,
interesting.
you play this game, do you find yourself just wanting to play Jet Set instead, or do you think this can stand on its own?
I think it can. I think it can stand on its own. I do think maybe I'm just a little hard on it because I do love Jet Set Radio so much that it gets close, but it doesn't quite do it. It's enough to scratch the itch for me. I'm still playing it. I'm going through getting all the trophies, doing all the tag spot stuff like that, and I'm still having a good time. But like if Sega put up a remastered Jet Set Radio port on the PlayStation Store, I don't know that I would play Cyberfunk again.
What about a guy like me and Antonio who don't have that connection?
Okay. Well, then you guys, you wouldn't have that higher set of expectations going in, I don't think.
Do you think this kind of a game would satisfy somebody who doesn't have?
I think it very well could.
Yeah,
but
see, this is clearly like playing on nostalgia. Like everything about this game is playing on the vibes, right?
Yeah, very much, very much. I think you guys could play it and have a good time. That said, I think if you don't have that appreciation or like positive idea of Jet Set Radio going in, you need to wait for this game to go on sale.
Yeah. Okay.
This dude it's 40.
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
40.
Interesting.
And I'll say, as someone who does like it, that is feeling a little steep. I bought it because I was excited about it, and I've been for a while. I don't regret it. I don't regret the purchase. I do like this game, but if you don't have, the hyper excitement going in, I would wait for this thing to go on sale before you try it out.
Interesting.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Megadads Live. Make sure you follow us over on Threads, Instagram, or Facebook for all things Megadads. And check out megadads.org, our website, which hosts all of our content. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you subscribe and like the video. And don't forget to head over to extra-life.org and support Team Megadad's 11th year fundraising for Extra Life. We'll see you November 4th for game day. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Friday.